Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to talk to you guys about the brand new record from This Gift Is a Curse, A Throne of Ash, out June 14th on Season of Mist. The album has 9 tracks, 48 minutes in length, and this is the band's third full-length album. This band and this album prove, without a shadow of a doubt, that there are no boundaries when it comes to the black metal genre. They really push the envelope, they really stretch those boundaries, they really break those boundaries and those barriers, and they take the genre and the sound to a whole new level and to a complete different extreme. This album is fully black and sound and feel and the lyrics and the atmosphere. There's absolutely no light shining through the cracks whatsoever. Absolute pure darkness, almost like a pure dark blood, poisonous blood is the feel that you're going to get from this record through and through. The album starts off with an instrumental track called Haema. It's about 2 minutes and 38 seconds in length, and then to me is a very extremely important track on this record. Perhaps it will go unnoticed because it is an instrumental track and it's the opening track, but this track is absolutely key for the overall sound, feel, vibe, mood, atmosphere, if you will. This is not an atmospheric record by no means, but the atmosphere of the overall album is really set by this opening track. This opening track, as far as the listener is concerned, really sets the tempo, really sets the mood. It really creates a certain expectation from what's going to come afterwards, from the following 8 tracks on this record. So I really feel that this track deserves some attention because it's really important in the overall structure, feel, sound of the record. Now, the lyrics on this record, like I mentioned before, are absolutely painted in the darkest color possible. It really talks about how dark reality is and perhaps the emptiness of reality and its true meanings. So I really like the subject matter of the record. I really feel that it meshes extremely well with the overall sound of the album and the overall feel that this record has. The music is just a soundtrack to that state of mind, to that emptiness, to that darkness, to that sense of empty reality and what is real and what is not real. The music just really carries forward that message, and it just really becomes the soundtrack that surrounds the lyrics, that surrounds the overall vibe, the overall feel that this record has. This record overall, the listening experience, it's almost the equivalent of having your brain put into a blender and mix a little bit of suffering and pain and darkness into that blender, and then the result of the milkshake result of that is what this album is all about. This album really pushes your senses. It really pushes your own boundaries, your own ability to grasp the overall concept, to grasp the overall feel of the record, because it really messes with your mind, and it really pushes your own desires and it pushes your own feelings into a very dark spot, into a very dark place of your mind and your body, and it just allows your brain to really become one with that emptiness, with that darkness. So it's an album that really takes you on a journey, that really captivates you, but at the same time it really stretches your own ideals, your own mind, your own feelings, and your own understanding of what's happening around you, in a void around you. Now, the album has at its core, and I said this many times already during this review, it has at its core a black metal sound, a black metal feel, a black metal vibe. But it's not just a black metal album. It really combines hardcore, specifically from the vocal aspect. I really felt the vocal aspect of this album has a lot of hardcore, qualities to it, if you will, and also combines sludge metal, specifically on the guitar side. The guitars really alternate the sludge with the pure black metal sound. So those two worlds are in constant battle throughout the record, throughout each single track on this album. I really felt that you're going to get predominantly a black metal sounding record, specifically from the drums, but overall this is a black metal sounding record, but the guitars alternate almost on every single track, black metal with sludge, and then you get the more hardcore vocal style on top of it. So that's the overall chemistry that you're going to get from this record. This record is pure aggression. It's aggression and it's darkness, and it starts perhaps after that intro track, because that intro track has a little bit more melody to it and it kind of mellows you out into the record. But it's pure aggression and darkness, and it's a portrait of that aggression and darkness in a musical format. That's the best description that I have for this record. Now, as far as songs are concerned, I'm going to start with the Thresholds. The guitar feedback at the intro of this song really reminiscent of that sludge metal vibe, so I really like that. The vocals come in and then they lead you the way throughout the song. The song has a very black metal sounding riff at its core. That is the spinal cord of this song. But the vocal approach, like I said before, it has more of a hardcore vibe to it. So you have that vocal approach with a more hardcore vibe on this specific track. But even then, there are some black metal nuances to how the vocals come across on this specific track. The drums are very vigorous and heavy. They alternate a little bit of melody here and there, but overall they're very vigorous, they're very heavy, and they really set the tone. The drums really allow the guitars to be more aggressive, with some breaks here and there, but there's not many breaks really throughout the track, because there's there's an overall sense of aggression with this song, and it has a really dark underbelly to it. So the drums really give that darkness, but at the same time are the ones that give a lot of heaviness to the track. From the guitars, you're going to get more of a melodic darkness to it. There's not as much aggression in the guitars as it is a sense of darkness to the track. The drums are really on the forefront as far as the aggression, as well as the vocals, specifically with that hardcore, with those blends of black metal in it. It really adds itself to give aggression to any track. The next song is Gate Dweller. This is a more aggressive song than the previous one. This one has aggression from the beginning. From the first second of the song, you really feel like this song is going to be an aggressive track all around. It really picks up where the previous song, because thresholds in this one come back to back. So this one really picks up where the other song left off. The other song it had some aggression in it, but not as aggressive as this specific song. For as aggressive as the other one was, this one is even more aggressive. And that aggression really starts off from the first second, from the first minute. It really feels like one is a continuation of the other, and it really feels like one was the segue to the other. This song continues that relentless aggression approach. The aggression in the song really coming from the drums, while the vocals and guitars give the song a little bit more melody. But this song overall has a very dark tone to it as well. It has a lot of aggression built in. At the midway point, the song slows down, but that is short-lived. It's one of the few songs that really allows you to catch your breath. It's almost like you're drowning and you're coming up for one last gasp of air before you get pulled back down by the tide and you're taken away by the ocean. It really has that dark feeling to it. It's a song that's built up and constructed in that way. It's a song that has aggression. It slows down for a very short period and then it picks up right back up again. So that short period really just allows you to grasp for air ever so slightly. It really doesn't give you that much time before it starts all over again. Around the 2/3 part, the guitar melody changes on this song, becoming perhaps the brightest spot on this album. I really don't think this album has any bright spots at all. There's no light shining through, like I said earlier. This is an album that's surrounded by a dark black, the blackest blanket that you could ever imagine. So there's not much light going through, or any light at all. But around the 2/3 mark of this song, the guitar melody completely changes, and it gives even though it gives some melody, some brightness to the song at the first glance, the melody is such that actually adds darkness to it. It's a melodic, dark vibe that encompasses the song, that takes you to the bitter end of this track. Last but not least, Am Katharsis. This song also starts with guitar feedback. They use a lot of feedback, a lot of that either at the beginning of tracks, sometimes they use it throughout the track in order to break the songs up. I really like how they incorporate it. It just gives a completely different vibe to their style, to their sound. So in this song, they started off with that, with the guitar feedback at the beginning, before the onslaught of venom and darkness really takes over. From both, in this song, is not just from one aspect, from one component. In this song, that darkness, that onslaught really comes from all aspects. It comes from the vocals, it comes from the guitars, and it comes from the drums. The vocal track on this song has a little bit of a uniqueness to it, and that's why I picked this song as one of my favorites on the record, because I felt that this song, from a vocal perspective, has something different that you're not going to get on any other song on the record. I felt that the delivery and how the vocal track was recorded was very different, almost like there was a layer to it. Like, as you're finishing one sentence, the second sentence on that verse is already starting on top of the previous verse, so it has a little bit of a layering to it. Very unique for the record. I could only pick this kind of style of vocals or this kind of style of delivery or mixing in this specific track. I listened to the album many times. I was not able to pick that same style, that same approach on any other track. I really like the feeling that it gave to this track. It almost created a little bit of extra volume. Not that you needed that from the vocal delivery, because the vocal delivery is so aggressive. There's so much anger. It has, like I said, that underlying hardcore style to it. But when you add those layers to it, it just adds volume, and it really works for a song like this. So I really like that approach. That's really what brought me into this song. That's what attracted me to this song, because as far as the aggression from the drums, guitars, and vocals, you pretty much get that on and off on every single track on the album. So what sets this song apart to me is how the vocals were recorded, how they're mixed in, and how that tiny bit of layering at the end of each sentence really works well to give the song a little bit more volume. All right, guys, this is it. This is A Gift is a Curse, the brand new record, A Throne of Ash, out June 14th on Season of Mist. Let me know your thoughts on the band in the comment section below. I'll be reading those as always and getting back to you. Take care, guys.